it's Jen with Astro T Astrology. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about the full moon that is happening in the sign of Capricorn on July 3rd. This is going to be at the 11 degrees 19 minutes Capricorn and about 7:38 a.m. here Eastern Standard Time. So I'm here in New England, so I go by that time. But just look at your local chart and see what time it's happening where you are. So this is going to be a super moon. So the super moon means that the moon is very close to the earth. So it's going to appear really large in the sky. And its effects on us might be a little bit more larger also. So you might have be a little more emotional. The moon's phases do affect your emotions because the moon is the ruler of Cancer. It's all emotions. And of course, because the sun is in Cancer, might be a little extra emotional. So this is about things that are very Capricornian and very Saturnian. Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. So, you know, this is a building, it's a culmination. It makes you think, what have you been building that is going to bring success? It's about professionalism, it's about maturity. And building something that's going to be long lasting. Capricorn really kind of fine tunes, really plans. It doesn't just do things spur of the moment. It makes sure it's got a good foundation before it starts building on it. So in the short term of the moon cycle, this started with the new moon in Gemini back on June 18th. So, you know, more of a short term, kind of a less impactful would be whatever you've been building since then. Again, this is wherever this falls in your chart is how it's going to affect you. So if this is, you know, something that, you know, you have, say Capricorn here in your 10th house, it's something building for work. Maybe you've been working towards a promotion. Maybe you've been working towards a raise, or just, you know, kind of moving up the scale at work. This is kind of the culmination. So what you've been building for, you might start seeing that, you're starting to get it back. And then as we go on the waning cycle, we're going to be reaping the benefits of what we've learned in the waxing cycle, getting up to the full moon. So on a larger scale, this really began, this whole, sun moon cycle started back with the new moon that was in Capricorn back on December 22. So what have you been building since then? When you think of, again, Capricorn, you think of, you're moving from being kind of immature to mature. You're moving from dependent to independent. You're moving from inexperience to experience, from vulnerable to secure and protected. Saturn is a protective, it has barriers. So Saturn does make you feel a little more protected. Goes from premature to seasoned. So it's a lot about growth. It's a lot about kind of becoming what you've been working towards. So as this cycle gets to its peak, we are reaping the benefits of what we work towards. But again, like I always say, you have to put in the work. It doesn't just magically happen. And also it really depends on what's going on with all the other planets that are in your personalized chart and in, just in transit. So every year we will get a full moon in Capricorn. This will always happen around this time of year because the sun has to be in Cancer. So when the sun is in Cancer and the moon is in Capricorn, we get this full moon. The themes are going to be similar every year for us, because it's really going to fall in the same house. So say, for instance, you have Aries rising. Your full moon is always going to fall in the 4th and 10th house axis. So, with Cancer down here in the 4th and Capricorn being up in the 10th. So if that is your rising sign, expect this to be something that has to do with like career again. The difference and why this is not going to be exactly the same as last year, again, is because of what all the transiting planets are doing. So we have a lot of different things going on in the sky that were different from every other year when we have this full moon. Your own personalized planets and your own personal natal chart is going to remain the same, but the way that these all aspect against the transiting planets are what's going to make this different year to year to year. So if you want to see how this looks in your chart, definitely go to astro.com, make your chart up. You need your birth time, date, and place. And if you don't want to go through all that and you want a little bit of help, definitely contact me, astrotastrology@gmail.com, and I'll make you up a free personalized chart. And if you want a little description to go with it, I can help you with that too. So feel free to contact me, and I would look forward to that. So the other things that are happening during this full moon is Mercury is on a separating conjunction with the Sun, which is, so they are both, so we have Mercury and the Sun really close together. Mercury's, and they're both in opposition to the moon. The Sun and Mercury are also in a separating trine with Saturn. Saturn's at 7 degrees Pisces. So they're pulling away a little bit. This is at 11 degrees. The moon is then sextile. So this is really about, when you have the Sun and Mercury and Saturn and the moon, it's really talking through your emotions. This full moon is about, you're going from what you need, that's the Cancer, that's the moon, going to what you need to make things happen, to make that desire, that sun, that, that pull, that what you are aiming for in this life, that's, what you need is going to bring you what you can do to succeed. So you really want to be intuitive of what your gut is telling you, and do things that are making you feel uncomfortable. With Mercury in there also, it's talking through these emotions. You want to be understanding, caring, use this maturity, use this professionalism to offer, your stability and your support, and that can help you get ahead. Because when people see that you're confident, you're sturdy, you're dependable, but you're also caring, nurturing, they'll trust you, they'll respect you, and everything just is going to be that much nicer for you. So you really want to work with all these energies. Always, work with the energies in your chart. Pull up your chart, look at what's going on, see where you have a weakness, kind of pull away from that, or what you can do to fight to get over that, to achieve your goals. Saturn is also within a 2-degree sextile to Jupiter, as are Mercury and the Sun, and they're all in a sextile. So the moon then would be in a trine to Jupiter. So we use what this full moon is teaching us to build something. Jupiter is about growth, it's about expansion, it's about, Saturn's about the foundation. So you want to build something lasting. Again, it really depends on where this is in your chart as to what it's going to mean for you in particular. So, again, use this professionalism, use this maturity with the Sun and Mercury trine. Use that Saturn to advance in your career or just your reputation. Feel that confidence. Feel that, whatever this full moon, waxing cycle has taught us up to this point. So this is, again, the culmination. What have we learned? Let's look back. Look back, relearn, think about what we've learned and make it happen. Saturn is right now in retrograde, so it is about, re-foundation, re-going over things. We also have Neptune in retrograde, so it's kind of a restructurizing where lines have been blurred, maybe kind of rebuilding where the lines have been kind of askew. So we want to kind of make things a little bit more concrete. That way we can build upon it. And then, we have a lot going into retrograde after this takes place. Pretty much every outer planet's going to be in retrograde after this. So we have this compassionate moon in Cancer. Will show your humanity. It will show your empathy, and really help you get ahead, because people will see you as your entire person, as this confident, driven, professional, mature person, but that has that compassion for the people around you. So where does this fall in your chart? Where can this benefit you? So let's look through real quick, and we'll see wherever this is in your chart, what this means for you. So if you have it we'll pretty much start in your 10th house, because we've talked about this. We'll just go around from there. So if you have this full moon happening in your 10th house, look for changes in your career. Look for what you've been working towards in your career, what you've been building towards, that promotion, that raise, that respect, maybe building just a good relationship with your coworkers, a good team building. That is all very 10th house. And so if you have it happening in your 10th house, expect that themes around there. Again, look to all the other planets to see what else is going on in your chart. So then we move on, and if this is happening in your 11th house, the 11th house is all about groups. So if you're trying to get groups together, maybe you're trying to start like some kind of club, maybe a book club, or maybe, something that you want to get together on a regular basis with friends, maybe some new people, maybe starting some online groups. Maybe you're starting an online, like a website like this, or a YouTube channel, something like that, something that you've been building towards, practicing towards, that you've been working on to try and get, okay, here's what I want it to look like, here's what I want it to be like, and now it's at that point. So now we're going to be at the culmination of that, and then we're going to be coming down, maybe teaching what we've learned to others. Maybe we're going to be, giving that knowledge to others, so that they can then, maybe on their next cycle, they could grow in the same way that you did. Then we move along to the 12th house. So the 12th house is a lot about, it could be addiction, it could be kind of introvertedness, kind of things that you kind of keep hidden. So maybe things that you've been working on, in your maybe in your reputation that you haven't cared for. Maybe, you want to build that reputation. Saturn is, and Capricorn is about your reputation. So maybe, pulling back and changing that. Maybe you've been sick, or you've been in prison, and that reputation has really been changing because you've been working towards getting out or getting better, and you don't want to be known as, this person that is in the hospital, or this person that is addicted, or and something that you've been working towards. So maybe you've been trying to kick some kind of addiction that you had. This is maybe the culmination of that. So maybe on the waning side, you're going to be maybe helping others. The waning side, if you go for the full broad scale of this this full moon, we're going to go back to the new moon in Capricorn. That is going to be next December. So, you got, maybe you're going to be helping others again, counseling others. So then if it's in your first house, that again would be a lot about reputation, about what how people see you. So maybe you're trying to build that to look more mature. So maybe, before you were a little bit, just growing up, maybe you're young, maybe you had some immaturity. Well, now you're showing that structure. You're showing, I can do this and you can depend on me for this. And, you're really putting out that air of that you're confident, that you're stable, that you're reliable, very Saturnian. So if that's in your first house. So then we go to the second house. It's about money. So a lot of your money, your things. So maybe you've had some issues with money, maybe spending too much, maybe you've had a lot of debt. This could be that you're really working towards trying to bring that down, trying to get yourself out of debt, trying to, stop your spending habits, or even, maybe improving the things that you have, maybe getting rid of that old car that's been just giving you issues, and maybe getting a new car, working towards that. Okay, so I'm going to make a little bit more, work a few extra hours so I can get that down payment and get that car. That's a lot of second house kind of thing, or possessions. So then we have the third house, which is about communication. It's about siblings. It's about, maybe building that relationship, building that foundation for communication that might not have been there. Maybe helping, that person mature a little bit. Maybe you're going to see that sibling in your life that's always been the baby is going to be growing up. Maybe you're going to be building towards, it's also about short trips. So maybe you've been planning on some trips. Maybe you got an RV and you plan on, moving around, doing little day trips and whatnot. So this is the time that, anything that you've been planning, it's a good time to make it happen. Fourth house is about house and home, about family. So, if you're thinking about improving your home, if you're thinking about buying a home, Saturn again and Capricorn are about that maturity, that stability, that contracts almost. So it's a great time, if you've been working towards buying a home, maybe putting that down payment down and really like taking that step. Saturn is that foundation that you need, and Capricorn is that you can count on Capricorn to give you that drive and that that worker kind of spirit, like buy a fixer upper, and you can power through it, because Capricorn pretty much will go to work, and that's their first priority, is work, and they want the house to look good foundation. That corners aren't going to be cut. They're going to do things the right way. And moving on to the fifth house, this is about fun. So maybe there's been a time that you've really kind of held back. So you want to go out and have some fun. Maybe, your reputation has been, you kind of been not the life of the party. And so you want to kind of change that and show that, I can be fun. I can get out there. Also, it's about children. So maybe, you can't get more stable than having children. You can't get more responsible than having children. So maybe you're going to say, now's the time that, we've bought our house, with this last transit maybe. And we, now we're building towards having a baby and going to the next step and doing what comes next, or whatever comes next for you. Could not be in that order, but, again, it's building towards that foundation, building to that responsible, dependable person. And parenting, pretty much you have to have that. Also same with creativity. Maybe you're thinking about starting, maybe you're making things, painting things. Really use the Saturn to know what you need to do these, what you've been working on to get these plans started. So what now has come to a head that you can build from, learn from, reap the benefits from. If you're a painter, maybe it's time, hey, I got all these paintings that I've been working on. Now I'm going to put them up for sale. Now I'm going to reap the benefits of what I did and maybe make some money off this. So then the sixth house. Sixth house again is about health. It's about everyday work. So maybe you've been working on your health. Maybe you've been more regimented with a diet and exercise program, and you've been really exercising. Maybe you're thinking about running a marathon, so you've been training for that, or just training to, kind of just get up and get out. Maybe you've been doing HIIT workouts, trying to maybe lose some weight, or gain some weight, put some muscle on. So what have you done to build up to this that you can then reap the benefits from again? So maybe buying a new wardrobe, maybe it's something that with your coworkers at work, that you're building a more structured team, and that you can work better together. I feel that this is a lot of what's going on in my life, because we have been building a great team at work, and it was hard at first, but now we're really coming together, seeing what we can do to work together, structure, foundation, and building upon that. And that's that Jupiter and that Saturn foundation, that Jupiter building something bigger, something better, making something bigger and better out of what you have. We move on to the 7th house, which is, of course, relationships. If it's a relationship with, some kind of a partner, it could be that you're going to be more committed. Maybe you're going to ask that person to marry you. Again, Saturn, Capricorn is about maturity. It's about commitment. It's a big commitment when you think about marriage. So that could be what that's building towards. Maybe you've been dating, saving money for that ring, and then you pop the question with the full moon, with that culmination, and then you reap the benefits of what comes from that, which you have your lifetime partner. So then we move along to the 8th house. So don't look at what signs are in here. Of course, I'm just kind of going along, but these signs do kind of represent the houses that they're in. That's why I leave it this way. Because when you think of all the houses, Libra is very relationship-y, so that kind of rules the 7th house, or it doesn't rule it, but it's a lot the same representation. So that's why I leave this like this. But then if you have the full moon happening here in your 8th house, so that the 8th house is about taboos. It's about maybe your anxieties. It's about other people's money. Could be about inheritance or taxes. How you really build towards getting an inheritance. Maybe you're really buddied up with somebody and then they left you money, but that's a horrible thing to think about. But I think more about say if you're really in debt and really owe a lot of taxes. So maybe you've been saving money to just pay it off and just wipe that part out. Now if it's something to do with maybe your anxieties or your something that you feel uncomfortable about, maybe you're working to accept these mental what's causing you to have these anxiety, what's causing you to have this anxiety. You're working towards it to maybe work through it so it doesn't happen so much, or just to be more accepting. Say when I'm up high, I don't like it. When I'm in crowds, I don't like it. So I'm just going to kind of stay away from that. So, it doesn't have to be a big, oh, I'm going to win $1 million. I'm going to, it's a full moon. It could be something just as subtle as that, something you might not even notice until you look back and you say, that's about the time that those nerves about going into public places and going into groups or climbing up that ladder, they just kind of went away because I worked towards it. I did it. I built that confidence, again, building on that foundation, building confidence, building, just building that maturity to just get over those obstacles that are holding you back. Finally, we have the 9th house. So that is, the 9th house is about long distance travel. It's about learning. It's about higher learning. You're kind of collegiate or, after just regular school, what you go on to learn later in life, or even religions. So maybe all this learning, this book reading, you're going to, use what all this studying, what all this learning, education, what this is bringing you to then teach others. A waning moon a lot is about, or any kind of waning cycle is about teaching and helping others with what you've gained. So you want to then share that with somebody else. So again, what have you learned and where is this going to fall in your chart? I'd love to hear from you, so please feel free to leave a comment. And again, if you're looking for a chart, looking for a little bit more explanation with the planets that you have going on in your natal chart, contact me at astrotastrology@gmail.com. And of course, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you liked it, and hit the notification bell for future notifications. A lot of stuff coming up this month. We got Venus going retrograde, we have planets changing signs, we have all sorts of things going on, so make sure you hit that bell so you get notifications for future videos, and I look forward to seeing you. So have a great week. Bye.